All right, I'm here with new Miami center James Brockermeyer. James, appreciate you joining me today. Just talk about your transition to Miami, what that was like, your decision. Just get into all of that, and then how your first spring was.
Yeah, I've always admired this program from afar, and when the opportunity came up to be a part of it, I took it by the horns and went from there. And coming in and learning the system and getting to know the players was a great experience. And I think all the players and coaches and everyone on the staff made it super easy for me to get acclimated. And I'm really blessed to be here.
Obviously, your family has a history, as in the offensive line world, so to speak. Your dad is very well versed in it. So there was some research done in your decision to come to Miami, I'd imagine. What was it that really drew you to this place, and then did it kind of like verify once you were here and once you've been here?
Yeah, I've always heard great things about Coach Mirabal. I got to know him a decent bit throughout the recruiting process out of high school when he was still at Oregon. But being able to reconnect with him, in December and January this past year was great, and just getting to talk football with him was a great experience. And he's very knowledgeable about the game, and him and Coach Cristobal place very high emphasis on offensive line here, and that's something I wanted to be a part of, and very thankful and blessed to be here.
We hear so much about the center position at Miami and with Coach Mirabal and Coach Cristobal in specific, just like how much emphasis they put on how much you guys are needed in that room, right, in terms of keeping everyone in the right communication and keeping everyone on the same page. So how has your job as a center been different here at Miami than maybe other places you've been?
Yeah, I like to think the center is kind of the glue that keeps that line together, and you gotta direct traffic a lot. The center and the quarterback have a lot on their plate here, and you got to be very knowledgeable about the whole system, and you got to be able to analyze defenses and understand what they're trying to do to you, and you got to figure out clever ways to get back at them at the same time.
What has stood out to you about this group in particular that you're a part of? Obviously, very talented, a lot of good experience on that line, including yourself. But just talk about how that group has been doing as a whole and how they've been meshing, because as you just talked about, that's just as important as the individual talents, right?
Yeah, coming in January, I thought it was huge for me to get to be around all the linemen here and get to go through spring ball, and they can kind of figure out the way I call stuff, and I can kind of figure out the way that other people's minds work, and I can kind of adapt myself to fit what they need. And at the end of the day, I've got to put our guys in the right position to be successful, and that's something I take a lot of pride in, and something that's going to help our team this year.
Just talk about, obviously, as a center, obviously you got to be the leader, one of the leaders in the group, but it's had to have been, helped you a little bit knowing there's other vets in the room. Francis, a Markel Bell now, who he's a vet. A year ago we couldn't call him a vet, but now we can. So talk to me about how that has been, kind of how they've brought you into the room and made that acclimation easier for you.
Yeah, they were great when I got in. Everyone was super welcoming, and they helped me learn the system a lot too. And sometimes you'll look at a playbook and you can read it, but not everything goes exactly according to plan in football, I guess you could say. So there's certain ways people adapt to different stuff, and the way they would explain certain protections and runs to me was really interesting, and they were super helpful when I got here.
Want to ask you real quick about the defensive line, going up against those guys in practice every day, and even though you're in the interior, so you may not see some of those edge rushers as much. That group as a whole, what did you see from them in the spring?
They're all great players. They're super physical. They play with great pad level. They play with great effort, and I think a lot of those guys have a big chip on their shoulder. I wasn't here last year, but obviously, I think they've taken a lot of criticism for how the defense was last year, and those guys play with a really big edge to them right now, and they make us better every day, and we know we have to bring it every day in practice to be able to operate the offense.
And then my last question for you, obviously center quarterback connection, very important. How's that been, you building that relationship with Carson, you guys both coming in at the same time? I mean, just talk about that budding relationship and how things have evolved there.
Yeah, Carson's great. He's definitely one of the smarter guys I've been around in college football as a whole. I think he's got a great understanding of protections and making the points in the run game, and understanding how certain coverages work, and pressure indicators and everything like that. But he's a great guy. We came in at the same time, so we're kind of in a similar position, coming in and learning the offense. But he's been great. Getting to know him has been awesome. He's right next to me in the locker room, so we're chopping it up every day and just shooting the crap, and he's been a great guy to get around with, and I'm excited to play some football with him.
James Brockermeyer, welcome to Miami, and best of luck this season.